I'm going to share with you a secret. And this secret is not found within any Certificate 4 courses or any diploma courses around leadership and management. This is a secret that will increase productivity, will have everyone going towards a common goal, will lower your conflict levels, have everyone accountable for their actions and behaviors. Do you know what it is? It's a team charter. Now, I've been really fortunate enough to work with high performance sports teams and military teams, preparing them for successful seasons. So I've worked with Man United and Wolverhampton Wanderers and Birmingham City and St Helens, as well as those military teams, preparing them for operations in Afghanistan and Iraq. And one thing they have in common is they all know what their goal is. So what the direction, to be winners, to be Premier League champions, to win what the old, the championship, the old First Division, or to win the Super League. They know that. And they get about doing the business of that. They train at that intensity. They act and behave like winners and champions. But in corporate life and in corporate world, in our small teams, we don't have any of that. More often than not, we just get thrown in and just do what you need to do. As a manager, you've probably been promoted up, and now you are a leader of a team of peers that you used to be on the same level. And now what they need is clarity and direction, and they need to know what they're here to do. So the question I've got for you is, what is your championship? What is your league? Do they know that? And we need to really articulate this. And the way to do it is have it on a charter, right? I've got all the tools and templates. So you just need to email me, say, hey, Clint, can I have a copy of the charter? 100%. You can run this over a day, half a day, 2 days. I've got the PowerPoints as well and the agenda. If you're interested, just let me know. I'll send it straight to you, because I'm really passionate about this. This is the way that you're going to get really good results, because everyone's going to have a clear direction. They're going to have ownership. They're going to take ownership over all the objectives and priorities. They're going to know what the expectations are of performance, of deadlines, of how we communicate. They're going to know how to communicate, so that communication piece. And then everyone's going to keep each other accountable. It's not always you as the manager that is going to keep people accountable. Yes, that's your job, but other people are going to do it, because now we've drawn the line. This is what we're going to tolerate. This is what we need to do to become successful. More often than not, like I said, you've inherited a team. Maybe that team are really quite dysfunctional. They've had behaviors that have been tolerated for years and years, and now you're the newbie coming in, and you have to tell that person, sorry, but what you've been doing up to this point now, everyone's been taking a blind eye to it, but I'm going to have that conversation. I'm going to set you right. And this is the way that we need to do our team. This way we need to act and behave in our team. And that can be quite challenging. So what we do is put it in a team format. And when we're looking at these planning days, everyone is involved. Okay. Your role is the facilitator, is to set the direction and then the objectives, and then let everyone else work out all the different priorities to achieve the goal. Okay, so what does it look like? It is a template. It's a A4 piece of paper that documents everything. What does it document? Documents what the vision and purpose is of your team, where you want to get to in 6 months, in 1 year, in 2 years. I'd probably suggest 6 months to 12 months is the ideal one, because things change all the time. So they need to be pretty clear. The next is, what are the objectives? So what are the objectives that you need to achieve? Maybe it's 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5. I'd probably say a maximum of 5. And then what we need to do is break them down and work out what the priorities are, because once people know what the priorities, they can get to achieving those. There's no point in people working on priority 14 when priorities 1, 2 to 10 are not even done. So that gives everyone that ownership. Okay, so if you're not working on 1 or 2, you're working on 3. And that's what's missed a lot of the time when we're looking at these objectives and priorities. The next, people need to know what their roles are, what their responsibilities are. Just because they've got a position description doesn't mean they know what they're doing, or other people within your team know what they're doing. So if that needs to be documented. The next thing we need to look at is communication. How do we communicate? What medium, what frequency? So when we're looking at one-on-ones, what frequency of that? Team meetings, how often? Is it once a week, twice a week, once a fortnight? And how are we going to do that? Now it's more often to be on Zoom. But that doesn't need to have to be the case. It could be on Teams. It could be just face-to-face. We need to document that so people have got no excuses. Maybe we've got Google Hangouts and chats that we have that offline water cooler conversations with. And the final one, it's around behaviors. So what are the behaviors that we're going to accept? I always look at this in 2 ways. So what are the behaviors that we've tolerated that we're not going to accept? So that's a really good question. So what are the behaviors we're not going to accept? And then what are the 2 or 3 behaviors that are non-negotiable? And if you document that, there's a really good, if you Google it, it's called above and below the line behaviors. And that'll tell you, to get the best result, we need to think above the line. A can-do attitude, positive, looking for options, alternatives, and solutions, taking ownership and things like that. Maybe that's another video I'll do. But then you need to document that, have everyone have that in that sort of charter format, and then boom, off you go. And then your job is then to just facilitate the whole process of the team charter. So when people are going off track, it's for you to give them feedback to keep them on track. When they're on track and they're doing the good stuff, it's for you to recognize and reward people within the team meeting itself. So other people are then going to start behaving in that way as well to get that recognition, because what you want is a functional team, not necessarily a high performance team, but just a functional team that is self-managed, okay? Meaning that they just crack on with their next objective, the next priority as they go. If you want a copy of the agenda, if you want a copy of the slides and the template, just reply, can I have the templates, and I'll send them straight to you. Usually it's half a day or a 1 day program. And then at the end of it, you've got a nice template of a team agenda. Every team that I've done this with, we've walked away with something different, okay? Because it's based on the creativity of the group. It's not just one standard sort of format, but it has the themes of vision, purpose, objectives, identifying the priorities, roles, responsibilities, communication, behaviors. Because ultimately, this is where we want to get to: clear direction, everyone taking ownership. They know what the expectations of performance and behavior, they can communicate, and they keep everyone accountable. That's what makes a successful team and brings a sporting success into business and corporate success for teams.